about a podcast that's on the rise. Infinity Equation, they cover everything in our eyes. From Marvel Legends to Transformers and G.I. Joe. If you're into action figures, this is the place to go.
Infinity Equation, they know the equation for all the best action figures and collectibles every nation. From Hasbro to Nessie, they cover every nation. If you love figures, it's a perfect destination.
They have guests on the show, from designers to collectors.
How's it going?
They share their
Doing well. How you
insights
doing?
for all you figure protectors. They review the latest releases and talk about their features. From articulation to accessories, they are the true believers.
Infinity Equation, they know the equation for all the best action figures and collectibles.
What is going on, everybody? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's fine with you, and you're having a great evening. It's another episode of the IE Podcast on Friday night. Back live again, here to have a good time, chat, laugh, whatever it is that makes you feel good for the week. I'm your host, Dante, aka Dark Joker Zen, and we just here to begin. Hey, I made that rhyme. That's awesome. Also, don't forget to check out our sponsor, Merlin'sMerchies.com. Code Infinity10 at the bottom. They do sponsor our channel. Please, if you love coffee, different flavors, I don't know how to really explain any of the flavors are fantastic. They have great flavors of coffee out there. So go check it out. If you're a coffee drinker like I am, you'll love it. So use the code Infinity10 there while you're there. Let's see who we got here in the chat with us. We got Dom. What's going on? Robert Diaz. What's happening? We got High School Creations. What's going on, Mike? How you doing? All right. So without further ado, let me bring our guest on. The one, the only, the animation artist. I like him. You'll love him. Well, I do love him because he's hilarious to me. I find him very funny. Mr. Denny Fincke. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Dante. How are you?
I'm all right.
Okay.
How's it going with you tonight?
It's good. I warned you beforehand that I have a cat that screams for no reason at all. So we might hear him screaming in the background. Okay?
That's
so
okay.
Just warn your viewers. Okay? And we don't torture animals here in the Denny Fincke household.
Yeah.
We don't do that. They just my cat's insane. Scampers. His name is Scampers. Okay. So feel bad for Scampers, I guess.
I do.
Okay. I liked your opening, Dante.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, thank you for joining me tonight.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure. I know we got to talk a little bit at ZoloCon. We did a little interview at Fan Expo Philly, and now I finally having a show. Like I've been wanting to get you on here for a while. So
Right.
it's awesome. I'm happy. I'm excited.
Not me. I'm it's been a long week,
I get it. Yes.
And I had a beer, and my beautiful wife made me a great dinner. So I'm just kind of a little sleepy, just ready to. So I'm going to go. All right.
Well, thank you, folks. That's the show tonight, everybody. Hey,
Great show.
Thank you. Yeah. Hey, you got to do it like a Muppet show.
Exactly.
But Denny, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you've worked on a couple of shows, but just tell us a little bit about a little background about you, and how you kind of got started in doing animation.
Oh, okay. I'm originally from Rochester, New York, and I grew up in the 60s and 70s. I was born in 63. I'm an old man. But I was a big comic book fan, and my dream was to be a DC Comics or Marvel Comics artist. But I sort of fell into animation. I moved into New York City in 1986, and I wasn't getting too much comic book work. I did one cover for DC, a few pages for Valiant. But I sort of fell into animation, and I've done different tasks in animation, but I'm mostly known as a background designer. And I'm I've worked on some pretty well-known shows. Daria, which I did storyboards for. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2003 version, and you had Roy Burdine on this. That's who directed on that. And Venture Brothers and Star Trek Lower Decks, and then other smaller shows. Yeah, so I've been around.
Yeah. From what I've seen, like there's a lot of shows that you worked on that I've seen. I'm sure a lot of my viewers have seen as well. We can kind of go we can go a little bit through them, but let's start with kind of like with Kablam. You did so. As we were talking before, I do remember that show. I just don't remember what the offbeats were. But you did work on that. Can you tell us a little about that?
Only a little, because that was a long time ago, Dante.
I know.
It was one of my early jobs. But the Offbeats was on Kablam, and it was a group of 5 friends, and it was done in a very simple style. Mo Willems was the creator, and maybe some of your viewers have seen the Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus book series. That's the same creator. And he was trying to go for a Peanuts vibe. Mo Willems is a very minimal artist, and he has a knack for creating things that are seemingly simple but entertaining at the same time. And yeah, but that was a nice summer. I was just inking animated drawings on that. I was doing cleanup work, and for 3 months I was just in a studio all day with some good friends. It was a great job, and we were just inking drawings all day long. It was nice.
But still, it sounds like you had a good time, because, like I said, I there's very fond memories I have of the show, and I remember the show was always on, and it was good time. But it was just, whatever it was on there was always hilarious.
Right.
It was always something funny on there.
Right. Okay.
Let's see. We do have a question from Unboxing Art. Let me pull that up here. It says, Denny, how was it working on TMNT and Venture Brothers? Which one is your favorite projects to work on?
Wow. I can't decide between those two, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003, that was the show where I sort of became a background designer. Up until then, I'd done a variety of things, and I'd done Captain Crunch commercials.
Oh, wow.
I filtered over to MTV, where I worked on Daria and a couple other shows there. And I was a kind of a guy who sort of was, I could do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But then MTV closed down in 2001, and I was out of work, and I thought animation was done. I actually took an H&R Block tax preparation course, because I thought, I have to learn how to do something else. Right. And just as I was finishing that course, I got a call from a guy named Antonio Canobio, and he said, hey, I'm working at 4Kids, and I need help doing background design. So I went over, and Antonio's one of the best artists I've ever worked with, and he's one of the owners of Titmouse, which is a big animation company in LA.
Yep.
And I had some background skills, because I wanted to be a DC and Marvel comic artist, and if you want to do that, you have to know how to draw Spider-Man swinging over New York City. And a lot of animators at that time weren't really strong in perspective, but I had some chops there. So anyways, Turtles was big for me, because after MTV closed down, I felt like, well, I'm a guy who can do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I'm not specialized in anything. And that's when I became a background design specialist. And that served me fairly well in the years since. Yeah. So instead of being a jack of all trades, at times I've wondered if I become too specialized. Now sometimes I have trouble, people don't think of me as a guy to call for storyboards, say, even though I did a little bit of that at MTV, so
Right.
so I'm always toggling between being a jack of all trades and being too specialized. But Turtles was a big career changer for me. That's when I had that's where I developed a definitive skill, and I had a nice run on there, about 4 years, I think.
Yeah, because it was on for a good long while, from like 2003 to 2010.
And yes, and I worked on Fast Forward as well, and I helped develop that. A lot of
Okay.
a lot of the previs on that. But Venture Brothers was a great time too. I worked on seasons 3 and 4, and Jackson Public, Chris McCulloch / Chris McCulloch, great showrunner, and that solidified me as a background design artist, I guess. What was funny though, I was working on Turtles from about 2003 to 2006, 2007. As my time there ended, I was working on 23rd Street between 5th and 6th Avenue.
Oh,
And my time there was coming to the end, but I was able to, the producer from Turtles called Venture Brothers, which was almost around the corner on 26th Street between 6th and 7th. And I
Right.
just was able to move basically around the corner to that studio. It was called World Leaders at the time. So
that's not bad. You go from one, like, yeah, I'm just going right across the street. I'll see you. I'll see you a little bit later.
it's nice when one project kind of dovetails into another project. That's great. It doesn't always work like that, but because it's the entertainment business, and it's almost like if you were an actor and you were on a series for 10 years and that series ends, you're out of work and you have to find something else to work on. And it's the same thing with animation. And if one project ends, you try to find another project, and hopefully one comes up. Sometimes you have to wait a while. Sometimes,
Right.
But, yeah. So you have to be.
Sorry. With Venture Brothers, I know because a lot of us could see like the resemblance of Johnny Quest. Was it easy kind of to reference that too when you were doing like the backgrounds and setting up for the show, saying, hey, we can kind of take this and kind of make it our own with the Venture Brothers?
Well, I think there was a background designer who was a bit older than me, a guy named Ray Feldman. And because Johnny Quest, sometimes they had a bit of a retro look, he was pretty good at getting drawing a split level house from the 1960s. He sort of had that knack because he was a little bit older and he lived through that. But I was able to do, this is a Venture Brother background behind me, by the way.
Right.
And this is, I think, from season 4. And Monarch, and I think she's still Dr. Girlfriend at that point. I'm not sure if she's Dr. Mrs. the Monarch yet.
Yeah, I think she was still Dr. Girlfriend. Yeah.
Okay. They're kind of trapped by the Guild of Calamitous Intent, I think.
Oh, it's been a while since I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a guild of supervillains. But anyways, this background was from the opening. And Jackson Public, Chris McCulloch, asked me just to design this hallway where Monarch and Dr. Mrs. the Monarch would be fighting, I guess, the soldiers of the guild. And he just wanted a hallway, and I went a little crazy on it. And he kind of looked at me sideways, I think, because I was so ambitious, I wanted to do something spectacular every time. And I think he was just in his head, I could sort of see the wheels turning. And I think he was thinking, I just want a hallway. So I did this thing. There's this big brain thing behind glass right there or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. But I went a little nuts on that one. But
hey, it worked.
You feel like you're only as good as your best background, as your last background in this business. You want to make everything great. And And that's the pressure. It's like, what's great? What's a cool background? What is cool? What's
Right.
going to make someone go, wow? And that's, and that's why art is tough.
It is. At one point I was going to be do animation, and I was like, I did not like the school that I was going to for it. So I was just like, nah, this ain't this. I want to draw, but I was like, nah, this is not the school for me to help me refine where I want to be.
Well, it's not an easy career, and I'll just leave it at that. I just, it definitely has its ups and downs.
Right.
When you get on a good show, life is great. But like I said, when a project ends, you feel like you're on an island, so it can be tough in that way. And right now, the industry is very much in a downturn, and a lot of people are out of work right now, including
Right.
me. But I'm working on a lot of interesting side projects, and there's a pitch I'm working on, which I wish I could show you right now, Dante, but I can't quite yet.
Understandable.
Maybe in a half year, I'll be able to, or sooner, maybe I'll be able to come on again for 5 minutes or something and just show it to you.
Definitely.
Or if I see you at a show, if I see you at another show.
Yes, please let me know. I'm excited. Look, I didn't know it was that tough out there for artists, because I see a lot of like shows being animated right now, and just like I'm thinking like, okay, it's not too bad, but then it's like, I guess it's certain shows that grasp my interest. It's not like something that grasps everybody's interest, or like if it's for like a show for kids, I get it, but it's just I just thought it'd be more plentiful kind of out there for artists.
What are you into right now, Dante?
Oh
What are you
goodness. I've been watching the show Lazarus. That comes on Adult Swim.
I saw the commercial for that. That looks really good. Is it really good?
Yeah, it's pretty decent. I've been enjoying it so far. I had to watch episode 11. I have to watch the new Gundam series that's on Amazon.
Okay.
Animation. Man, what else have I watched animation one? I watched Rick and Morty. I know a lot of people would kind of have a hate for it, but I still watch it to this day.
I like it. I don't know every episode, but I think it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun. It still has its funny moments. And I just heard Primal just got a season. This has a season 3, so I can't wait for that. I'm really excited for Primal. Trying to think of anything else animation wise I watch. I can think of offhand.
Did we ever talk about Sovereign's Reign? Was that you?
Yes, we did.
Okay, that's
such
great.
It is. I didn't think it was going to be that. I didn't think I was going to be drawn into it. I was just like, all right, let me give it a chance.
Yeah.
And first episode, I was with it.
Were you? I was digging the design. I thought the story, it's a slow burn. You have to be a little patient with it.
Yes.
And these days everything is so bam, bam, bam. And it's kind of a little sedate, but if you stick with that, I think but the 6th episode, when you kind of find out what happened, that's like there's a huge payoff if you just stick with it.
It is. And that's what made it even better. But then it was like seeing kind of like, I don't want to ruin it for anything, but there is a redemption arc in there too.
Right.
But it's very well done. I thought they announced a second season for it. I can't remember if they did or not.
Really? Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I think they said announced a second series. But also too, when you mentioned that, actually, there was another show I did watch. I didn't know you had a hand in. Was Midnight Gospel on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's one of the shows. It's really good. I never sat down and really finished the whole thing. I think I finished 4 or 5 episodes out of it. I have a couple more.
Ooh, that's too bad, because the 8th episode, there's a real payoff there. It's a very moving episode.
Okay, I'll finish it.
Crazy.
I'll finish it.
Okay.
I will finish it.
I mean, put it to you this way: when I was working at Titmouse in New York City, and we had a cubicle of 5 artists in it, 3 background designers,
Hmm.
and 2 painters and Photoshop painters. And we had the script for the 8th episode, or is it the 10th episode? Whatever, the last episode.
Okay.
And we're reading it, and a couple of people were getting teary-eyed.
Oh, wow.
And we didn't expect that at all, because we just thought this show is just about being crazy and weird. But I've been doing comic book conventions, and
Yes.
That's where we met.
Yes.
And, there's a lot of Venture Brother fans. There's a lot of Turtles 2003 fans. I'm finding out Daria has a lot more juice than I thought it did.
Oh, yes. Yeah, everybody loves Daria. Like, there's very few people that I know who grew up the same time I did who did not enjoy Daria.
Right. And I'm getting the enthusiasm for it. But so there's those, and I worked on Star Trek Lower Decks,
Yes.
and there's that. But people watch Midnight Gospel. I wasn't sure anyone had seen it, but there's people who watched it. It's such a unique, crazy show.
It is. I think that's what kind of drew me to it. I was like, all right, this is pretty good. It's like, it's something different, and it has like a weird vibe to it, because the animation was like kind of like almost like, I want to say not like 70s, but like
I don't
had
know
that bright, weird shape animation to it, which was great.
Yeah. It got me when I was working on it. I was thinking, I had the thought that it takes talent to be weird.
Yes.
Because one might think, yeah, I'll just be weird. But I couldn't be that weird if I tried. It just that show's just so out there and so different from anything else, and that's not easy to do. So
no, but I think what builds it, even if it's weird, the story is really good and interesting.
Right.
It has something there to grasp onto. So like I said, I enjoyed it. And as you said, you've met people who have enjoyed it as well, which is awesome, because it's I think it's one of those animations that really a lot of people haven't watched or seen, or really even kind of talk about either as well.
Well, sometimes I think things get a little bit buried
Yes.
because there's a lot of things out there. I did a couple months work on a show called The Best Hospital in the Galaxy, which is on Amazon Prime. And it's designed really well. It's a nice looking show, but I'm not sure word is getting out about that one.
I never even heard of it. Amazon. I've not seen any advertising from Amazon for it.
Yeah, I think it's on Amazon Prime. And because I haven't seen it, I worked on it, so I do want to watch it. Let's see. I did an episode of it. I've worked on like in between seasons of other things. I was on Star Trek Lower Decks for 4 seasons.
Right.
And I told you I can't.
Yeah, you can't.
I can speak generally about it. Great show. Mike McMahon, great writer. My director, Nolan Abeno, super talented guy. Worked with some really talented artists. But in between seasons, I would latch on to shows for a month or two and help out. So I did a little work on KIF. I don't know if you've seen KIF. I think it's doing pretty well. It's a Disney show.
No, I haven't seen that one.
I did a little work on Duck and Goose. I did a little work on This Best Hospital in the Galaxy. I did a little work on Teenage Euthanasia. I did a little work on this thing called The Poloni Show, which is a Justin, what's the Rick and Morty guy? Justin Roland.
Oh, Justin Roland.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. Yeah. So I've touched on, I did a little work on Inside Job. I worked on one episode of that. So
Yeah.
I've worked on things for long periods of time, and then I've come in and helped out on
Right.
things. So
That's awesome.
yeah, I'm working with this young writer now,
Oh,
and he's my dad and his wife ran a cigar shop, and he worked there. I've known him for a long time, but I didn't really talk to him all that much. And back in November, we got talking, and and I'm working on a pitch with him, and it's basically a zombie thing. And he told me about this, and I thought, a zombie thing? You know, we've had 10 years of Walking Dead. But I said, well, let me read the script. And I read the script. I thought, oh, I think this young guy is a really good writer. So I've been working on stuff with him a bit.
okay.
And somehow we're going to have to figure out how to pitch this. Maybe kickstart it or something. I don't know. We're sort of in the early stages, but
Right.
I said, hey, Stuart, his name's Stuart Thomas. I said, I like this script. You know, I told him, I said I had these misgivings because, you know, we've had so many zombies.
Exactly.
But a good script is a good script. And then he said, yeah, and I have 8 more. And I'm like, you have 8 scripts in the bag, 9 scripts in the bag. So it made me think this guy's really got his act together. So
He's doing better than me, because I'm not gonna lie. I do have some scripts that I've written. I just haven't finished. I'm horrible. I haven't finished them. I just started a new one. And if for those who've ever seen, I always blank on the title of the movie. Oh my goodness. It's the where they find the vampires in space and Haley's Comet, and they bring them back to Earth.
I don't know that. What is that?
Oh no.
How old is it?
I want to say early 80s, late 70s. Hold on. I'll figure it out. Hold on. Space. Goodness, come on, Google. Let's do better.
No, Dante, you need to do better.
That is true. I do. I'm horrible.
You should have had this movie memorized before the podcast.
No.
Is this, what do you call this, Dante? Is this not a podcast, a video cast? What do you, is it just Dante's show? It's
basically, it's more of the viewer show, actually, honestly, not even my show anymore. Oh no, I can't, cannot find it. Oh no.
That's
Light
okay.
Force. That's it. Sorry, Light Force.
Light Force.
Light Force.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh my goodness! If you haven't watched it, please try to find it and watch it. It's such a good movie.
Live action, not animation.
No, it's live action. It's all live action.
Really? Okay.
It's these astronauts who are in space, and they see the ship in Haley's Comet, and they basically board it, and they see all these dead bats on the ship, and they find these 3 crystallized humans on there, and they take them off. only one of the astronauts comes back alive. Everybody else is gone.
Oh wow!
But once you get to that part, it's just wild. It's a great movie, but it's a wild movie. And
what's it called again?
Life Force.
Life Force. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say it's from the early 1985, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's from 1985.
Interesting. Any well-known names in it, or is it sort of a B?
Matilda May, Patrick Stewart. I forget. Patrick Stewart's in it.
No kidding. Patrick Stewart's in it. Well, I have to watch it now.
Yes. Yeah, I kept forgetting he was in it the first time I watched it.
I read his autobiography last December.
Really?
I was in Australia for a month, and I had his autobiography. It's called "Make It So."
Right.
And it was a good read. Yeah, interesting. He came from such just a poor background and somehow became a great Shakespearean actor.
Yeah, he's a
pretty
great
good.
actor. Like,
Yeah.
no, hands down, amazing actor. There's movies I forget that he's in, that he's even in there for like just maybe like 5 minutes, and then he's gone. It's
Well,
like,
he was in Dune, the original Dune. He played Gurney
yes,
Halleck.
I don't remember that. Like, I know he was in there, but I just like I haven't watched it in so long. I forgot he was even in there.
Well, I I think who directed that? I'm so bad with this stuff. This is where I have to do better. But the director, or Frank Herbert, maybe it was Frank Herbert,
Mhm.
didn't like his casting, and I always felt he was a little bit out of place in that movie. And I'm wondering if they just didn't give him as much to do, because Gurney Halleck was, he was a pretty prominent character in that. But the
Right.
same thing happened on Next Generation. Gene Roddenberry didn't really like Patrick Stewart's casting.
Yeah.
So I think because he was bald. I don't know.
Hey, we ball people we got it. We can act.
Exactly. It worked out for him. It's worked out
Exactly.
for you.
We got some comments here from the viewers. Dom says the 2003 TMNT action figures are starting to get into people's hands. Best Super 7 figures yet. Kyle and Brandon nailed it with those.
Is your audience heavy into toy collecting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're heavy into everything. So most of the things that you've done, they probably they've watched.
Okay.
So yeah,
Um,
they're very heavy into it.
well, as you know, I did ZoloCon, which is a very toy-heavy show
Right.
in Pennsylvania. Nice con, very nice con, and they're in a bigger building now. They used to be in that NASA training facility,
Yes. Yep.
and now they're in a much larger convention hall. And I've done the Newburgh Toy Show in Newburgh, New York, which is fun. But actually, let me just do a little plugging here because I have 4 shows coming up in the next month.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
And the first one is in my hometown of Rochester, and that's called the Empire Comic Fest. And that's on July 11th and 12th. And that's my hometown of Rochester, which for some reason always struggles to have a really nice comic book convention, even though they've always had great comic book shops. Anyways,
Right.
many of your viewers are from upstate New York. I'm going to be at Empire Comic Fest, and admission is free. It's run by Ken
Sorry.
Whedon. I'm Dante. I'm talking. Okay. Which is, come on. No, which is run by Ken Whedon, who did some work, I think, on the Simpsons comics. But anyways, that's in Rochester. And then on August, I'm not doing this to only promote myself, also to promote these conventions. These
Gotcha.
conventions. I'm doing the Mid-Hudson Comic Convention on August 2nd to August 3rd in Poughkeepsie, New York. So if any of your viewers are in that area, I'll be there. And then I'm doing Steel City, which I've never done before, and that's in Pittsburgh. And that's August 8th. And I've never done that before. I hear it's a big show. And then on August 16th, I'm doing a one-day show, the Lehigh Valley Comic Convention, Lehigh, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And it's in Schnecksville, Pennsylvania. Now, this is important for your viewers. You've heard of that? Okay.
Yes.
This is important. There's a Schnecksville, but believe it or not, there's also a Schrecksville, Pennsylvania. Okay?
Yes.
So for any of your viewers who want to go to the Lehigh Valley Comic Convention, go to Schnecksville. Don't go 30 miles south to Schrecksville, okay? Because it won't be there, all right? I won't be there. So that's my July through August. I'm doing Intergalactic Con September 20th in Geneva, New York. So I'm talking to your New York, Pennsylvania crew here. I don't know if none of you come from New York State or Pennsylvania or Jersey. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that would be my boy Dom Machicciaro. And
Ah,
also, and congratulations to him. He knows what I'm congratulating him for, but congratulations again to him. He lives in New York, so
okay.
because actually this is what he said. He's like, let me go back up real quick. He said, this is what we call mess with Dante for an hour or two. So
Ah,
that's he also said,
what is, wait.
so,
Okay, go ahead.
I've been asked about vending at those shows upstate, but it's just a little too far to lug all my stuff up there as well.
What does Dom vend?
Just mostly like toys, just action figures.
Okay. Okay. Does he do Zolocon?
No, he doesn't do Zolocon. No.
Okay. Okay. So his other comment about giving you crap for an hour, because when I met you in Philly,
Yes.
that's what I started doing instantly. So what is it about you, Dante, that makes people want to abuse you? What is it?
I don't know.
Maybe because you could take it. You could take a joke. Maybe that's it.
Most times, yes. You know what? Yes, I will go there.
Okay. And that's a good thing.
There he is. He's like, thanks, Dante. I'm literally son. You're welcome, Dom.
Oh. So good news for Dom.
Yes.
Whatever it is. Mysterious news.
Rob has a question. He says, did you work on the background art for the end of Operation Prom? It was a season.
Oh, was that Venture Brothers?
Yes, season four finale for Venture Brothers.
Yeah, I don't remember it too well. What did I do for that? I think they had the prom inside the hangar. How do you? I'm very bad with pronunciation. Hangar, the hangar, where you put the planes.
Right, the hangar. Yeah, you're right. You were on it. Yeah, you were right.
I think we mostly took backgrounds that had already been done, and I think we just sort of redressed them, as we call it, and put streamers and balloons and tables. I think that's what we did. My memory of that's not too good. But if it was season 4, I probably did work on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then another one was Give Me Grief. Grace says Dante attracts it with his absolute love of all things AOA. I don't like AOA. Like,
what's AOA?
Age of Apocalypse. It was this horrible story that Marvel did back in the 90s. It was horrible. I could not stand it. I don't like it. I didn't like what they did with any the characters of the mutant factions, the X-Men. I didn't like it, none at all. But they give me grief about it, and so that's the grief I get.
Well, I think the part of the problem with comics is when the universes get so big, each individual hero feels less special. When Spider-Man came out, he's just this one guy, swinging around New York City, and every once in a while, maybe he bumps into Daredevil or Human Torch, but it's not too much going on. But then when there's a superhero in every corner, the individual superheroes don't seem quite as special. When you read comics today, there's more superheroes than there are side characters, I think, sometimes.
It's weird with Marvel. It's a weird thing because it's always like, hey, we're killing off this character, or it's a big special event.
Yeah,
that's all it is. Like this summer, they're killing off Thor, they're killing off Silver Surfer, but they're bringing Thor back real quick. And then it's like this huge event, like this Doctor Doom event that's going on. It's just like with Marvel, it's event after event. Like, can you just like kind of chill on the events? We don't need like 6 events in 1 year.
Sure. I hear you. Yeah. I've drifted away from new comics in recent years, but a nice shop opened up near me, and I feel like I'm getting pulled back a little bit.
Right.
But I've always skewed DC. I always preferred DC. I grew up being a Justice League of America fan. Legion of Superheroes.
Yes. Yeah.
There are a lot of artists I liked. One artist, Dave Cockrum, uh, sort of revitalized the Legion in the 70s, and he redesigned all the costumes. And then he went over to Marvel and redesigned and started the X-Men.
Oh,
He created Nightcrawler, Storm, and Colossus. Not Wolverine, but so he had a big hand in bring the X-Men back. So Dave Cockrum, underrated comics guy.
yes. Yeah.
Good
That's
artist.
awesome. I would say like if there's books that you're looking into, I don't know if you're into Transformers and GI Joe, like the Energon
No,
universe that they're building is
no.
it's awesome.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay. Well,
Well, that's the new one that they're building. It's kind of like it's a start from scratch for GI Joe, and it starts from scratch for kind of like Transformers. But then there's this other book called Void Rivals, which has this other kind of alien group in it too.
okay.
So, but they're all living in the same universe, which is crazy.
So
But
GI Joe's kind of running up and running into Transformers and things
yes, like
Interesting.
I would say, like in the first issue, so they broke it into first like issues, like it was Duke, Cobra Commander, I think Scarlet, and then Destro. And Duke's comics, like the first few pages, you see his friend get wiped out by Starscream,
Okay.
like
Okay.
in a plane. Like he's like, and Duke's like trying to explain to him, like, "Hey, look, there's this huge robot just squished my friend in mid sky." And they're
Okay.
like, "No, that's not true. Like that can't be. That things don't exist." And so it's kind of like him trying to figure out who made this and killed his friend, and it leads into a whole thing. And then with Cobra Commander's book, you kind of see the background of him, like where he kind of got started as Cobra Commander.
Okay. Well, even though there's a lot of history with GI Joe,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not up on it, or Transformers,
Seeing
it
never
seems to
mind.
me there's probably still a lot of things you can mine with those characters. Where I think with Marvel and DC, it takes a really sharp creator to do something fresh with these characters
Yes.
that have been around for years and years and years, and it can happen every so often. But I'm kind of interested in the Ghost Machine books.
Yes, those have
Right,
been yes.
very fresh, great artists. Jeff Johns is writing it,
Yes.
and those seem sharp to me. I'm more curious about those than the latest issue of Flash, even though I love Flash and Green
Right.
Lantern and all
I
that.
get it.
But
There is I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, Ray Anthony Height. He launched his own book called Midnight Tiger.
okay,
It's very good. I backed the Kickstarter when he first did it, but I know he has a couple pages up on his I forget what page it's called. If you look him up, he has his own website, but he puts up a couple pages on there from the book.
what's his name again?
Ray Anthony Height.
Okay, let me write that down. How do you spell height?
Just regular HEIGHT.
HEIC.
GHT.
Oh, okay, like height.
Yep.
Ray,
Yeah,
and I'm going to look him up. I'm going to write him down, and then I'll look him up later. Okay.
Also, there's Kyle Higgins' Radiant Black, which is really good. I love that book. That one was really good.
That rings a bell. I feel like I've run into that.
It's almost like Power Rangers, but a little bit different.
Okay.
But to me, the story where he's written, I was blown away. I was like, this is amazing. I'm loving this.
Yeah. Nice. Is that an Image book or IDW or?
I think it's Image, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
I think it's Image. Because I always get confused with like Boom Studios, IDW, and Image.
I was in this local comic shop, and they had this. Marvel has a new book called Jeff the Shark,
Yes.
and apparently it's kind of a big deal. And
Ye-
I'm like, this is an odd move for Marvel, but apparently it's working. I guess it's kind of like the Squirrel Girl move. I don't know. Just something
So
left field.
basically, the reason why that kind of caught on is a little bit more, I should say, is because there's a game called Marvel Rivals, and Jeff the Landshark is one of the playable characters in the game.
Ah, okay. So it's not out of nowhere. Okay.
Yeah, so it kind of got a little bit of traction because of that as well too. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play as Jeff Landshark. I'm like, okay, cool. Everybody
Yeah.
like loves him.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, interesting. I know I felt very like out of the loop when I saw that. I was like, Jeff the Shark, what the
Yes, yeah. They literally jumped the shark with that one.
they jumped the shark with Jeff the Shark. Okay. And
Uh,
it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws, apparently. So
yes,
it all ties together, Dante.
yeah, that is true. That is very true. They did a showing at my job for that, and it was funny because they said like I didn't know like the first 100 people there got a Jaws 50th anniversary Funko Pop.
Oh,
I was like,
wait,
cool.
where was this?
At my job.
This
I don't.
oh, it's your job.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Okay.
I don't like to say it out loud because
All right.
I have a lot of good perks there.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. It's like my Star Trek Lower Deck situation.
Yes.
I can only
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Rob says Spider-Man was poured out to and try launch new books in the 90s and early 2000s. They teamed up Spider-Man with Cass also try to make them a thing. Yeah. Then they did the whole
Well, you know what? Marvel did a good job elevating some of their characters.
yes.
In the 70s, the Guardians of the Galaxy, they were C-list Marvel characters.
Yeah.
And that's probably my favorite Marvel movie. And I think one of the reasons it's my favorite Marvel movie was they could be fresh with it. You know, it was just there's a lot to mine there again.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. But in the 70s, so those cast-offs were elevated, basically.
Definitely.
I'm trying to tie this into the last comment. I don't know if it's working, Dante. I'm doing fine.
You're
Okay?
doing fine. You're doing great.
And I might have pushed that a little bit hard.
Hey, Brandon, what's going on? Shout out to Dante. Miss you, bro. Miss you too, Brandon. You gotta come back around. You let me know when you're coming back around so we can hang out. Bart says a couple of my favorite books right now are the Skybound Transformers and the Space Ghost book. Space Ghost is freaking good.
Okay, I'm going to try that. I've never drawn Space Ghost. What a great costume. And I want to draw the Herculoids. I've never drawn the Herculoids. I grew up when the Herculoids and Space Ghost came out. Those cartoons came out. And the Herculoids, I thought, just look so cool. All those monsters and
yes.
Ooh, okay. You have a toy crowd.
Yes.
And I'm an old man. Okay, very, very old, very old. But my favorite toys growing up. Well, I did have a lot of GI Joes growing up. I had the GI Joe helicopter, the big yellow helicopter, and this big yellow Land Rover.
Yep.
But there was a toy line. And your readers can look this up. They were bendies, your readers, your viewers. They were bendy figures, and they were called the Outer Spacemen. And there was one for every planet in the solar system, or most of the planet. They had this little green guy from Mars. They had a guy from Saturn with a staff with a little Saturn on top, and
sound familiar from somewhere.
Well, you know, those bendies would break. You'd play with them, and they had limbs inside, and inevitably limbs would kind of come off. So you'd have these toys, with all these limbs missing, and you'd sort of like figure that into, you know, when you're playing with them. Oh yeah, this guy lost an arm in a fight and a leg in another fight, and so a lot of them probably haven't lasted. I think, I mean, one in a box probably goes for a few $100 at least. But they were called the Outer Spacemen. Really cool toy line. So just
It
a little toy
sounds,
history.
yeah, they sound so familiar. I'm trying to think. I may have seen them, but I don't know. No, I think you showed them to me. That's what it was. I think you showed it to me.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I had never seen it before. I'm like, I was not familiar with them. I was always mad because they never came out with Hanna-Barbera figures.
Oh, really?
They never really like delved deep into there. Like gave us Birdman, Thundar the Barbarian,
Mm.
Samson and Goliath, the Herculoids. They did kind of give us a Blue Falcon and Dog Wonder, but it didn't like. It's not like has articulation of like most figures that come out today. And that's what I love to have is like a Hanna-Barbera set like of figures like I can collect and just have good time with them. What was it? I think they were called the Impossibles. It was the three tree like the band that turned into like these three. Like one was like a spring.
Oh, like did one guy like kind of glide on his guitar like the Silver Surfer?
I think so, if I remember correctly.
Well, there was also the Mighty Heroes with Strong Man, Baby Man, Tornado Man, Rope Man, and Cuckoo Man.
No, those I'm definitely not familiar with. I never.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, the animation was really bad, but as a kid, I loved it. I loved it.
Or even give us like some of the wacky racers. I would love those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Professor Pat Pending. I would love to have his vehicle.
So I see toys in the background there, Dante.
Yes.
So, you're a pretty big toy collector, it looks like.
I would say so myself. I would kind of say so. Well, some of these are like kits. Like this one is a model kit.
Okay. Very cool.
It doesn't actually transform, but it's a fun model kit to build.
Wait, a transform toy that doesn't move at all?
Well, it moves. No, it doesn't transform into like the actual like individual robots like Transformers, but it does have it moves.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they're just fun, and then mostly are just kind of like regular action figures. And then I do love these Four Horsemen figures. This is one of their figure obscures, Anubis.
Yeah.
Oh, I just do that head on there.
Well, Zolocon was kind of eye-opening to me because I'm not a big toy guy, but he had all these independent toy makers there.
Oh, yeah.
And some of the figures, it varied, but some of the figures were amazing. And, if I was a millionaire and I lived in a bigger place, maybe, but I can't go down that road,
It's a dangerous road. Tell you right now. Once you start, you can't stop.
Yeah.
That's what
Ooh.
he tried telling me to stop, but I like, no, you can't snap half of them away.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Very nice, Dante. Very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. I have some Justice Society figures buried away, which I enjoy. Yeah.
I do. So it's funny. I do have like I do have DC figures. I just don't have them really set up. But I did love when they redid the Justice Society. I think it was late 2000s when they redid them.
I think so.
Yeah. And I love that run that they had on there. And I think I have all of them actually in figure form. I have the Justice League, which was amazing, like pretty good. Oh, and then I have some like the off characters that most people forget, like I'm trying to think, Red Stripe. I think it was Red Stripe. Is that his name?
Red Stripe, a DC character.
Yeah, he was like a big guy. It was like a big guy in a robot suit.
Oh, Red Rocket.
Red Rocket. Thank you. Yes, Red Rocket.
Yeah,
they had made him.
He was in Justice League International, I think.
Yeah,
Okay, that guy.
I have most of the Green Lanterns that they put out and this is all the Mattel wave, like when Mattel was doing it.
Okay.
But it was a good time. I loved it because they were making characters. They were going 90s to early 2000s figure like characters that they were giving us in that wave. I loved it.
I like the sculpting on those Justice Society characters.
Yeah.
I like the modeling on those a lot. But again, I'm in Zoocon, and there were a couple guys doing 3D printed stuff. And I was just like, I had this, like, my blood pressure went up. Like I got so excited. I was like, I need to get a 3D printer. And then I didn't. But, I only have time to do so much. But
I get it. Trust me, that's another road. It's an easy road, but it's a dangerous road too.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, I have a couple guys that we haven't done a show in a while, but we were talking about basically getting into 3D printing. Like, what's the easiest way to get into it? What kind of machine you're looking for?
Sure.
Yeah. So, I do that too as well.
You're a sick man, Dante. I knew it.
I know.
First mention, I could tell.
I got too much stuff between model kits and collecting figures and 3D printing and gaming.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I got a lot of hobbies.
I like your T-shirt. That's really cool. I can't
thank you.
tell what's going on there, but is it?
It's just Ben Reilly's Spider-Man.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Very nice.
Thank you.
Oh, cool.
Let's see. We got a couple comments here. Bart says, I'm not digging a Hercules book so far.
Okay, good to know. I might try it anyways, but I'll know what I'm getting into. Thank you.
Robert says, I remember the Impossibles. They were budget Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
Bart said, the Impossible had a spring guy, a water guy, and a guy who made copies of himself. Yes, thank you, Bart.
Okay. No guitar guy. No good. That was something else then. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know which one that was. It sounds familiar, but I don't know which one that is. Don says, I'm not a millionaire, but I live in a small place, but I still buy way too many toys.
You are what you are, Dom. You are what you are.
See? Rob says, Dante, the Mattel DC line had F-list characters. Props to them for going that deep. They did.
Yeah, they did. Cool. Well, the Tim I'm going blank here. The Justice League of America cartoons.
Yes.
They went very deep. They had the Shiny Knight.
Yes.
Seven Soldiers of Victory. That goes back to my days of reading Justice League and their search for the Seven Soldiers of Victory.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe they had the Shiny Knight. That was a good cartoon. I need to watch that.
I love that one too, but I was happy that they put a highlight on Booster Gold. I love that episode. That episode with Booster Gold is one of my favorite episodes.
I don't remember that one. I'll have to research it, Dante.
They kind of like brush him along. They're like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I can help. They're like, no, we got this. Just go ahead and make sure everybody's safe. We'll take care of the big guy.
Nice.
Bart says, my room is 400 square feet and packed, yet I still buy. See, these are I enable them half the time and they enable me half the time. So these folks will enable you to buy some toys.
This is a sick show that I'm on right now with a lot of sick people.
Don says, in the wise words of Dario, it could be worse. It's toys or drugs.
Well, I think comics have always been my drug. And when I was working on Turtles on 23rd Street, comic day was every Wednesday. And there was a comic book shop down 2 blocks away on 23rd. And we would say, hey, we're going to go and get our crack, get our crack fix. And then it was kind of nice that Wednesday. I mean, it's still done this way, but I don't buy too many books anymore. But that was always nice to have that event every week. Every Wednesday was new comic week. That was
Yeah.
so much fun. And then on Tuesdays, it was a Best Buy, and Tuesdays, new DVDs would come out every week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I remember
those were the days.
Well, we're old enough to remember Circuit City days.
Yeah. Yes.
Some folks don't remember what Circuit City was or never got to enjoy Circuit City. Like it was Circuit state of the art. Let me tell you.
Tower Records.
Yes.
Ah, that was fun. What a fun store. See, that's when retail was great. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to buy online. It's easy, but I would just go into Tower Records and just spend an hour or two in there just looking around. It was great. Yeah.
I don't think folks,
Mm.
for the folks who weren't born into, I just don't understand how much fun it was. It's like because you didn't have a care, like you had cares, but it wasn't like anything super. You just like, yo, we're going to the mall, we're hanging out. So many stores to go to. We still had KB Toy Store. Like, yo, I'm going KB, I'm going Toys R Us. Like, it was just good times just to hang out there with your family or friends. And
You meet your friends there.
yeah.
Yeah.
And most
Probably not your family, Dante, because your family thought you were kind of strange, probably. But your friends,
your family brought you there for school shopping. They were like, "Come on, it's time for us to get some new school."
There you go. There you go.
Let's see. Bart says, "I don't know what the guy who flew on a guitar, but the Impossibles were a band during the day, Heroes at night."
Okay.
Rob says, "Donnie, my favorite Justice League episode is the episode where Batman sits with that girl until she dies in the park. It was written beautifully." Yes, that's another good episode. That one was really well done. Yeah, that one.
You know what? I don't remember that one. Maybe I haven't watched every episode of that. I'll have to.
That one was with what's the card? I forget the game that like based off the cards.
The Royal Flush Game.
Yes, it was that one.
Okay.
And Batman makes it through because she's like changing everything, and Batman makes it through, and she's sitting on the swing.
Okay.
That one, yes, I remember that one vividly. Yes, that one was like this is a Saturday night show. I'm like, oh man, I can't. Don says, in college, I had a 3-hour lunch break on Tuesdays, and my school was 10 minutes from Best Buy. I think I ended up with 200 plus DVDs in one semester.
Nice.
Yes.
Good job, Dom. Good job.
Hey, that's what it was all about.
Well, you know, I'm very much into ownership. My wife and I, we're not doing so much lately, but up until last year, we would spend our weekends going to garage sales and flea markets. I was always picking up CDs, and then I import them into iTunes.
Yeah,
because I kind of like ownership.
Right.
And I went through a phase. I was buying some DVDs last year, and especially with DVDs, I definitely want the things I really like, because every once in a while I've had an idea like, oh, I'd like to watch this movie. Exactly. What's it on? You know, I have like 2 or 3 subscriptions. It's not on any of my subscriptions, you know, and so I like to have ownership of certain things.
No, I get it, because I think I have the original. Like I have the '90s Spider-Man on DVD bootleg. Somebody copied. I bought it at a toy show. I was like, because nobody put it on DVD and nobody was publishing it at the time. So I was like, all right, I'll buy this one and have it. Then they finally put it on Disney Plus. But then there was I bought it. I found it on Blu-ray on Amazon. It was Avengers or Mightiest Heroes, which I love that one. I feel like that's the closest they got to Justice League in the Marvel universe.
Okay. Yeah.
That one was
really I've never watched it. I've never gotten around to it, but I have.
Oh, that one. If you're looking for something that's Justice League-esque on Marvel side, that one is it. That is perfect, because they actually adapt most of the stories. Like they do the Skrull invasion in that one. And it's a shame that it ended so early, because like the last episode, they fight Galactus, and that's how it ends. The last season ends. It's like, oh man, like you're waiting for more, you just wait for more, and it was so good. And then they came out with that Avengers Assemble nonsense, and it's like,
Yeah.
no.
Wasn't it amazing how DC really had its act together in terms of animation
Yes.
and television?
Yep.
But I don't know if there's a DC movie I love.
Yeah.
But Marvel has its act together with the movies, but can't.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
guess a
think
couple of the Marvel shows are good. I never saw WandaVision, but
there's a handful that are pretty
Yeah.
good. I feel like Marvel's done great with the movies, and actually their video games they've really been doing well with. Where DC does great with like their comics and their animated movies. Like those always been hands up because like I hate to say it, Andrea Romano for them if they lost her, she was a great voice. Like she was a great voice caster. She knew who to cast for what role, and they can bring out the best in that character.
Right. Interesting. Yeah.
I feel like she was like the main backing and knew what to do. She was like the Kevin Feige of the DC animation.
Interesting. Okay. So voice actor casters
Yes.
don't get enough love, is what you're saying.
But she did good. She was so because she did like if you see any of like the older DC movies, her name's right there, and it's just like she does like most of the casting, and
Yep.
I'm just like,
Well, I recognize the name, so
Yeah.
I knew who you were talking about instantly. So she played that's the thing about voice casting for the animation, but casting for the Marvel movies or any of these superhero movies. So much of it is about Hugh Jackman, great Wolverine.
yeah,
So much of it is about the casting. If you get
Exactly.
the casting right, if it's believable, like when Ryan Reynolds was Green Lantern, nah, I don't know why it just didn't work for me. And
Nope. But Deadpool is great. That was
Yeah.
role was made directly for him.
Sure, exactly, because he's not. I saw him in a movie he was in with Denzel Washington where he played it serious and he was okay, but
Mhm.
Ryan Reynolds is a little bit more comedic.
Yes.
It's hard to take him super seriously somehow. But yeah. Wow.
We'll wrap up with the last comics here. Let's see. Now it says I had the 1995 Mario Brothers movie on DVD. Why? Because it was on the shelf on a Tuesday.
Because you could, Mario.
Exactly. Robert says physical media keeps certain cuts of movies alive. I hate when companies edit an existing property because of things like the Twin Towers are in the movie.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Your audience is intelligent.
Yes. Bart says, I love my DVDs. I have 100.
They come to your show. I don't know.
I'm sorry?
No, I was just insulting you. Keep going. It's all right.
Bart says, I
have
love
to
my
do
DVDs.
that every 5 minutes.
Bart says, I love my DVDs. I have hundreds of DVDs and 12 terabytes of movies for the same reason. If I want to watch what I want when I want to, plus the love behind the scenes stuff.
That's true. Remember DVDs would come out and they'd have all the extras?
Yes.
All the commentary. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice because I have a friend who uploads a lot of movies to Plex. So he shares his account with me through Plex.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still like old movies that I get to watch. Newer stuff that I get to watch. And it's still great because then it's like, you know what? I'm feeling the mood for like a movie I may not have in my collection, but I know he has it there. So I'm like, bam, right there. I can watch it anytime.
Sure.
Yeah. But I think it's getting harder because there's a lot more that I want to get in my collection, but the price is just going up and up and up and on the DVDs.
Yeah. But also, as much as there's things I like and like to have available to me, there's so much great new stuff coming up. My
Oh,
wife
yeah.
and I, we Netflix, and we'll watch a series and we'll think, oh, what are we going to watch next? And there's always something new. The last good thing we watched was Mobland. Did you ever watch Mobland by any chance?
No, I haven't seen that one.
With Tom Hardy and Helen Mirren. It's great.
It's no one that sounds familiar. I just don't know if I just like kind of skipped over it when I was looking at it. Yeah, that one I don't think I've seen.
It's crime thriller, if that's
Right.
yeah. So, but that was really good. That was really good.
I think with me sometimes I get burnt out on series because it's like, I gotta watch the series. Then it's like, don't know if it's going to get continued for the second season. It's like I get caught up in it.
Sure.
Like, why? So, yeah, I try to stay away from series a little bit, unless I know for sure. But like, Squid Games was really good. I enjoyed that one.
I only saw the first episode of that, but I wanted to get into it more. Well, there's so many good things. I'll start watching something, and then I'll get distracted. I'll start watching Summer's Reign, and then I'll get distracted by the next season of The Boys or Invincible.
Exactly.
Or start Squid Game, and then the next night I'm like, oh, I'll watch Squid Game, and then I'll see something else. I'll forget about Squid Game. We're living in an era of entertainment luxury.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Bart, no, we're not doing that tonight, Bart. No. Mm-mm. No, Bart. No, I'm not reading that comic, Bart. You can keep on with that. What's going on, Northern Nomad? All right, folks. Well, we're going to wrap it up here. Denny, thank you so much for hanging with me. It was a pleasure. We're happy to have you back on with your new project when that launches.
Yes, maybe I'll come on with Stuart, if that's okay with you.
That's fine. That's great. Bring him. Yes.
Excellent. Thanks for having me on, Dante. I hope to see you at another show.
Definitely. Hopefully I'll be at another show. I don't know what show. I think the next show I'll probably be at is New York Comic Con.
Okay.
So that'll probably be my next one to go to.
I'm not going to be there. I don't think. I'm not going to be there.
I don't blame you. It's
I'd rather drive down to Philly. Like New York is an hour and a half from me, and Philly's about 3 hours. I'd rather drive down to Philly, into Philly.
Wow.
Deal with New York City, to be honest with you.
I don't blame you. I really don't.
Yeah.
Just walking that Javits Center is like walking like 16 blocks into New York. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah. All right.
Denny, where can the fine folks find you?
I'm on Instagram, and my handle is a little confusing. It's at TwitTrue, TwitTroo, and you can find me there. And I should post up more often than I do, but I promise to post very often. I'll be better about that.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you so much. Folks, I will see you until next time. Y'all stay safe. Have a good weekend. And that's all I got for now.